नित्यानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलम् सर्वदी साक्षिभूतम् भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. Anandam, welcome everyone for a beautiful evening in India and a beautiful morning in the western part of the world. Thank you so much for joining for this session. This is going to be a very interesting, a very intimate, and a very, very, very powerful session for completion with the mother energy, completion with the feminine aspect of life. So thank you everyone for joining this in a very short notice, and we didn't want to miss the auspicious time of Navaratri. So we wanted to have a session so that during the Navaratri, we can all experience a beautiful completion. I'm going to start on the session right away. This session would need you to have a notebook, a pen, and a very silent ambience, the Vata Varana, for you to experience that powerful completion with the divine cosmic mother. Okay, so please have a notebook and a pen, and I request everybody to be on camera, please. Please turn on your cameras and please be available on the camera for the rest of the session. This is a very powerful session where we're going to lead you step by step into completion with the mother. Most important aspect for our enlightenment is the completion with the mother. So I request everyone to please be on cameras throughout the session, please. And if you want to inform any of your Sangha members or your friends to also join the session, you can do so now. Have a notebook and a pen with you, and preferably please inform people in your house or where you are to just give you that space, right? To experience that space of powerful completion with the divine cosmic mother. Yes, Lala, got your message? Yes, ma. You can change your room and open the camera. Yes. So I'm actually very, very excited because in this session, for the first time, we are actually doing a different format for the mother completion. And I'm very excited myself to be able to lead this session. Let's see how Swamiji leads this beautiful session for all of us. Yes. Kalai Chelvima, Kalai Chelvi, Eliona, Marcos, Devika Rani, Nirantara, MYSG007, Galaxy A10. Asokanaya, I think people are able to hear me. Maybe can you check your, okay, you're not able to hear me. So you will have to only chat. Okay. I have a very specific format for this session, and it will take 2 hours. Okay, so please commit your 2 hours so that you can experience a powerful shift and a powerful breakthrough in the mother completion. Actually, Ma Punita, I'm so happy you came because I was actually thinking of you. It will really help you, Ma. I'm glad that Devi made you see this message and come here for the session. Whoever has come here, please be very clear. It is Swamiji, the Divine Mother, has brought you here for this session, nothing else. Let's get started. So the first aspect that we are going to see in this session in regards to completion with the mother is to first understand how completion with others work. Okay. In this session, we are specifically going to look at completion with the mother, but completion with the mother or completion with any other relationship in your life, the process is the same. But in this session, we will only customize it for completion with the mother. But let me explain the process. How do I complete with the relationships in our life? Now, the first thing that we need to understand in terms of completion with relationships, completions with people in our life, is the concept of the world and my world, right? Now, I'll just refresh this for those of you who are new. There are two things constantly happening in life. The world, the actual happening, just described as a set of facts. My world, the way I perceive that happening, my ideas, my labels, my notions, my interpretations, my beliefs, my experiences, my expectations, my memories, all this come under my world. I will give a simple example of what this means. Now, at the age of 6, right? I'm playing outside in the house with all my friends. My mother is in the kitchen cooking. Suddenly, it's starting to drizzle. I see a few drops on my body. I'm so excited. I'm like, oh, wow, I'm having water splashed on me. And I'm jumping, and suddenly, the rain becomes heavy and it starts pouring. And me and my friends are happily jumping outside in the rain and enjoying and singing and totally drenched. And my mother is trying to look where I am, and she sees me in the rain, completely drenched. She takes me by the hand, drags me inside the house, and locks me inside, gives me a tight slap. And I'm like beating the door and trying to open. I was like, no, I want to go out. I want to go out. I want to play. I want to play. Right? So, what is the D world? The D world is I was playing outside in the rain. It started rain. I was playing outside. It started raining. I continued to play in the rain. My mother saw me playing in the rain. She took me by the hand, got me inside the house, locked the door, and she slapped me. What is the my world? The way I see my mother. My mother is cruel. My mother doesn't love me. She doesn't allow me to do things I like. If it has been my brother, she would not have done this. She would have allowed him to play. She is always stopping me what I like. She never allows me to do what I want. I am like a slave for her. I have to only do what she wants me to do. Everything. My world. The perception we carry about what is happening. What happened actually? I was playing outside. The mother came. She got me inside the house. She locked me. She slapped me. But the way I see, she is cruel. She is wicked. She is bad. She doesn't love me. She doesn't care for me. She is always partial towards my brother. All these are my ideas, my notions, my interpretations, my beliefs, my experiences, my expectations. So here we have a diagram. The D world is the actual happening, which is explained by a set of facts. My world is your judgments, your ideas, your notions, your interpretations, your beliefs, your experiences, your expectations. Relationships are shaped by your cognition. So your cognition is responsible for the way you relate with life and relate with people in your life. Your cognition makes or breaks your relationship. Now, this I want to explain a little bit further. Please provide your listening. Now, let us say at the age of 6, I had this episode with my mother where she got me inside and she didn't allow me to play in the rain. Now it is my next year, 7th year. It's my birthday, right? My mother, I've called all my friends, and my mother has a beautiful surprise for me. She has ordered a 3-layer vanilla cake for me. Okay, it's very expensive. But she wanted it to be very special. She ordered a 3-layer vanilla cake for me. And I'm eagerly waiting to cut my cake. And I'm expecting the cake just arrived like 1 hour before my birthday party started. The bakery delivered the cake and it's a big box. So I'm like super excited. Wow, I have a beautiful cake. And she is setting it up on the table with all the candles. And I see it's a vanilla cake. Which idiot would eat a vanilla cake? I love chocolate cake. 2 months back, when it was my brother's birthday, you ordered a chocolate cake. But for me, purposely you ordered a vanilla cake. Which idiot will eat a vanilla cake? Which child likes a vanilla cake? You know that I don't like vanilla cake. Purposely you ordered a vanilla cake. Why? Because at the age of 6, I have a cognition. I put a glass in front of my eyes. My mother doesn't love me. She doesn't allow me to do what I like. She always spoils my happiness. So I have that glass. So through that glass, I am seeing a vanilla cake. How does that vanilla cake look? It looks ugly. It looks bad. Which kid will eat that cake? It would probably 2 times more costlier than a plain chocolate cake. But I'm having a glass in front of me. I know. If it had been my brother, see, last 2 months back, my brother's birthday, she ordered a chocolate cake. And my brother didn't allow me to touch 1/4 of it. And now my birthday, see, 3-layer cake. Who will eat this one piece also? Forget about this 3-layer. So she has put extra effort, but already your cognition is that you have a certain cognition about your mother. Oh, she doesn't love me. She doesn't allow me to do what I like. Okay, then few weeks later, another incident happens where your mother actually, she took you to a movie theater. She was going with her friend. She actually took you to a movie theater, right? But after you come back from, you enjoyed the movie, you did all this. After you came back from the movie theater, your brother is telling you, hey, you know what? We all played, me and all the neighbors, everybody, we all played. We had a nice game. Again, you feel, see, she didn't want me to play with my friends. That is why she took me to the movie. I know. She never allows me to play with my friends. So this one cognition which forms inside of us makes us see everything that happens after in a different limelight. Makes us see everything. She would have actually been doing everything for you, but it is very much possible because of our earlier cognition. Anything that she does, you are seeing with this prism. This is what the my world cognition can do to us. The my world cognition is like a glass that you wear, like a yellow color cooling goggles. Anything you see will be yellow. Anything you see will be yellow. Some of us wear a red color goggles. Anything the mother does will be red. Some of us wear a green color goggles. Anything the mother does will be green. So it depends on how we perceive her, the earliest cognitions that we had about her. So cognitions makes or breaks relationship. Now, let's do a very quick assignment. In your notebook, make 3 columns with titles, incompletions, the world, my world. Pen down the top 5 incompletions that you have with your mother. Now, when you think about your mother, what is the top 5 incompletions that you feel about her? We are going to work on completing these top 5 incompletions today. This session will give you instant completion. Okay, this is not you go back and do. In this session, before the end of the session, you will experience completion. Okay, so please look back into your life and write down 5 incompletions. See, here I'm not saying 5 incidents, top 5 incompletions. Now, what do I mean by that? One of the incompletion is my mother is partial towards my brother. She loves my brother more than me. That is one incompletion. That incompletion would have happened in a few incidents. So, incompletion, for each incident when this incompletion happened, what is the world? What is the my world? What actually happened? How did I perceive? Then the next top incompletion. My mother is authoritative. She is bossy. She doesn't respect my feelings. That is incompletion. All the incidents where it happened, the world, what really happened, how I perceived it. So please take a few moments to pen down. Top 5 incompletions with your mother. For each incompletion, what is the world? What is the my world? If you have any questions, you can put in the chat. But please be very objective when you're writing about the world and my world. The world is only anything, only facts. Facts can be the world. My mother shouted at me, my mother abused me, my mother hit me, cannot be the world. My mother spoke to me at a decibel of XYZ is the world. My mother shouts at me, my mother is hysteric, my mother is she is mental, she is loose, she is a criminal. All this is the way you perceive. The world is facts, 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 facts. My mother spoke to me at this decibel. My mother took me by the hand and got me here. That is only the world. Facts can only be the world. The way you perceive is all my word. Please take a few minutes to do this assignment. Any questions you can put in the chat. Okay, so somebody is asking, please explain the world. The world is the fact. For example, I was playing out in the rain. My mother saw me playing in the rain. She got me inside the house and she locked me inside the house. The world is I was playing in the rain. That is a fact. My mother saw me playing is a fact. She got me inside the house is a fact. She locked me inside the house is a fact. My world is my mother doesn't like me. My mother is cruel. My mother is wicked. She always stops me from enjoying myself. She never allows me to enjoy. She doesn't like me being happy. Is my world. Leah, what is your question now? I was 4 years when when she passed away. I don't know what to complete. So Leah, you have to look in and see. Sometimes when you do not grow up with the mother, right? You have a feeling, mother, why did you leave me and go? You left me all alone. There was nobody to take care of me. Why did you do this? Like those kind of things that not because you had actual incidents with her, but because you have that feeling, like, you may not have incidents, but you can still write those kind of incompletions, like when you felt like she was not there for you, or she left you and went, and you were suffering because of her. You did not experience the motherly love, and when you saw your friends experiencing that mother, your heart always felt for it. You always longed for that motherly love. So please pen that down. I'll give a few minutes. Vijay, I'm reading your question. I read your message. Yes. It will really, what you're doing, Aya, will really shift in your space, and for her also, it will really bring a beautiful completion. Please, I'm so happy you're attending this, Aya. Okay, so the first column is not just situation, incompletions. So the first column, I would say that my mother doesn't love me. That is the incompletion. Then I will write about the incident where I was playing in the rain, the D world. My world, I will write, she doesn't love me, she hates me, she is cruel, she is wicked, she is this, she is that. Then I'll write one more incident at the age of 7 during my birthday. So you will write the next incident where you felt she didn't love you. That is the difference between a situation or an incompletion and the D word. Okay. Devi Raja saying, I don't remember anything about my mother. She passed away when I was 9 years old. Yes. So Devi Raja, yeah. Devi Raja, sorry. If you had, like, when you grew up, right? Because you do not have your mother with you at the age of 9. When you grew up, you do not have her. Did you experience, if you experienced any kind of a powerlessness when, because you do not have the mother by your side? You can pen that down if you have any. It may not be actual incidents till the age of 9, because you didn't have her. It's more like it could have been a longing from the age of 9 that you missed a mother in your life. So whenever you felt powerless, or whenever you talk to her, mom, why did you, I want you to be with me, or why you are not there with me, when you're being earned for that motherly love and you felt powerless, those moments you can pen down. Vijayaya, yes, guilt is also a power. Anything which makes you powerless is an incompletion. That is a definition of incompletion. Anything that makes you powerless. So look back when all you see, you're now looking at a past incident with an updated intelligence. That is guilt, right? Now look back and pen down when all you felt you could have done something but you did not do. Pen that down. Sam is saying, does it have to be only mother or any feminine figure in our life? Actually, Sam, all the feminine figure, the relationship that you have starts with the mother. It is your incompletion with the mother which reflects in terms of the incompletion that you have with the feminine figure in your life. So first do the completion with your mother. And after you do the completion with the mother, then do the completion with other feminine figures, feminine people and feminine beings in your life. But first, the foundation of any feminine relationship, especially for a male, is the completion that that male body feels with the mother is very, very important. Yes. Yes. 5 minutes is over. So we will move on. First and foremost, for any completion to happen, you have to take responsibility for everything happening around you. You have to recognize you are the source of everything happening around you. Okay, this may be a little difficult for you to fathom or for you to accept if you were in kind of an abusive relationship where you were a small child and certain things were done to you and you were totally not responsible for your disturbed childhood because of your mother or because of the situations at that time. And you feel, why should I take responsibility? Something wrong was done to me. Swamiji says only one thing at this time, right? You suffered in your childhood. The choice is yours today during this Navaratri. Today in this session, before the end of the session, you can experience a beautiful completion in your life. And when I say completion, instant manifestation of what you want is completion. Instant manifestation of what you want. I'll give you an example. Yesterday evening, my time around 7 o'clock, 7 or 8 o'clock, I had, I was speaking to one of the co-sannyasi who helped me, look at a blind spot, and I completed with one aspect. Immediately, some other aspect of my life, what was pending, started moving. 4 things that I was pending in my life, or some project wasn't happening. 4 things started moving in a breakthrough way, in an excellence. I did not do anything. Automatically manifestation will happen. So if you complete in this session before the end of the day, whatever in your personal life, in your professional life, in your career, in your relationships, things will move. You will know very clearly this is an effect of completion. So completion and the after effects of it is instantaneous. Now, I only want to give you this choice to each and every one of us. You have 2 choices, especially if you feel you are not responsible for what happened in your life, for the abuses or the exploitation that you went through, or the disturbed childhood or the past that you had. You have 2 choices today. You can continue to complain, continue to have this grudge, continue to say that I'm not responsible, and continue to suffer for the rest of your life. This is what Swamiji calls arrogance, right? You want to blame, even at the cost of your suffering, you're ready to suffer just to blame others. Okay, this is called arrogance. I don't know, sugarcoat it, but that is called arrogance. Second is, okay, whether I am responsible, somebody is responsible, I don't care, but I want to complete it. Let me take the responsibility to complete it. You have 2 choices. put the blame on others and keep complaining that it is because of others your life got messed up, it's because of the others that you went through so much of torture, or you say, okay, I don't care who's responsible, let me take the responsibility today to complete and fix the situation in my life so I can move towards my enlightenment, I can manifest what I want. I want to choose option 1 or option 2. You can put in the chat. Option 1, you are not responsible, you will not do the completion, let somebody take the responsibility for my life. Or you want option 2, I am taking responsibility, I want to complete. Yes, I am taking the responsibility, I want to complete. I am ready, I don't care who does this what in my life, let me take the responsibility to complete. Yes. Yes, great. So now all of you, by declaring in the chat, you are taking the responsibility to complete for everything that's happening around you. You have to cognize that you are the source of everything, whether you understand it or not. The minute you decide, yes, I'm going to take the responsibility, things will start moving around you. Completion with others is not saying I am sorry. It is not apologizing. It is not about being wrong or right. It is not about, oh, my mother was right, I was wrong, or my mother was wrong, I was right. No. Or it is not about you call your mother and say, oh, mom, I'm so sorry for what I did to you. No. The feeling sorry comes from powerlessness. Completion comes out of responsibility, not out of powerlessness. The minute you take responsibility, you feel so powerful. Yes, I can fix things in my life. That powerfulness is completion. Anything you consciously build stays with you and makes you more and more powerful. Swamiji consciously builds relationship completion with every single disciple of his. Please understand, I have been around Swamiji, all of you know, for last 10 years. Every single disciple of his, Swamiji consciously builds a relationship, consciously ensures that the disciple is in completion, consciously reaches out to them. Every single disciple of his million disciples, he takes a conscious step towards every single disciple in his life. Okay, so whether you are living in the Adhinam, whether you are a sannyasi, whether you are living somewhere, or whether you are an initiated disciple who has not met Swamiji so far, he takes responsibility. So you have to consciously build complete relationships. Fulfilling relationship means every relationship which reminds you again and again this experience of oneness. So when you complete with your mother, you will have a beautiful experience of oneness with her. And this will also reflect in the relationship with all the other feminine bodies in your life. Whether you're in a male body or whether you are a female today, it will reflect in the relationship that you have with other female bodies. I know females who have so much of incompletion with other female bodies. And I know males who have so much of completion with other female bodies. So you being in a male body or a female body doesn't matter. Your space of completion with the mother matters a lot. Now, I'm going to play this very short clip by Swamiji, where Swamiji explains about this completion with others, and then we are going to move on to the actual completion itself. Okay, so please provide your complete listening. It's just a small clip I'm playing.
No, I want you to understand, unless you decide, repairing cannot be done. Unless you decide, repairing cannot be done. Repairing cannot be done. Listen. Today we start completing with others. Others means not just only your father, mother, husband, wife, brother, sister, the human beings around you. We will start the completion with everything with which you are living. Your wealth, your health, your bag, your seat, your pets, your car, your house. Please understand, all these are living part of your life. They may be dead objects, but they are living part of your life. See, a house may be a dead object, but it is a living part of your life. How many of you understand what I am saying? It's a very important component of your life. First, we will start completion with all the human beings with whom we are living. First step, completion with everything. With every human being. First thing you need to do is deciding, I have to bring completion with others, with whoever I am living. I have to bring completion with whoever I am living. Even if they don't want, I will stretch my best and I will decide I am in the space of completion. Whenever they want, I am open to have them. I am open. I am going to be in the space of completion. Whenever they are also ready, it will become completely complete. Understand? Completion with others does not mean you are going to apologize to them. No. Apologizing is not completion. Asking sorry is not. So many people were saying, I want to apologize, I am sorry. No. I am sorry is not completion. I am deciding to drop hurting pattern in my life, or any incompletion, misunderstanding, anything. I am deciding to drop, and I am deciding not to bring them, not to give life to it again. See, past, you can't say you are wrong or you are right. No one can say you are wrong, you are right. It is not apologizing. It is not feeling sorry for the past. No. Deciding, I am dropping this incompletion, hangover of the past, and I will not allow this to happen once more. Completion is actually responsibility, not apologizing. See, apologizing or feeling sorry comes out of powerlessness, but completion comes out of responsibility. Understand the difference. Please listen, see the difference. Now when I am saying you need to complete with your mother, with your father, with your brother, with others, I am not asking you to apologize. I am not asking you to call them and say, oh sorry, oh sorry, oh sorry, bus bus. No. No. Feeling sorry comes from powerlessness. That is not completion. When you call, you explain, this is what has been perceived by me. Here, I am not interested in looking into you are wrong or I am wrong. That will only create more and more anger, hatred, and suppressed violence. I am only saying one thing. I am ready to drop the past and its powerlessness, incompletion. I am declaring I am dropping the past and I am complete. I don't have incompletion. And I will not create any incompletion anymore. Your decision and declaration, when it reaches them, you will suddenly see they also open up and start coming towards completion.
So beautifully, Swamiji, just in a few minutes, nailed down all the powerful cognitions that we need to know about completion. Purpose of completion is not just healing of relationships. No, your whole energy will be different. You will have so much of self-drive. You will have so much of excitement in life. Please know that what happened was not wrong. What is happening is right. Completion is right. Past is not wrong. Whatever happened was not wrong. What is happening is right. You are not blaming or complaining. You are only completing and dropping it from your inner space. What is really completion, Please listen. Because we have all probably heard so many definitions of completion. What is really completion? Anytime I feel powerless, I pick up an incomplete cognition about life and I hold on to that incomplete cognition. That incomplete cognition leads to incompletion. Dropping this incomplete cognition is completion. Anytime I feel powerless, I pick up a certain incomplete cognition about life, about myself, about people in my life. Let's take an example of a mother. At the age of 6, when I was playing in the rain, the same example. Because I felt unhappy, I felt powerless, I felt like my mother is forcing me not to play in the rain, I felt incomplete, I felt powerless with her at that moment. I chose a cognition. What cognition I choose? I chose my mother is wicked, my mother doesn't love me, my mother is this, my mother is bad, my mother did this to me, my mother did that to me. My mother is wicked. She is partial towards my brother. She doesn't love me. She didn't want me. She doesn't like girl child. She should have stopped with the male child. Why did she give birth to me if she didn't like me? All that is the cognition I chose at that moment. The cognition we chose at that moment to have about her, deciding to drop this cognition about, okay, I'm not going to hold that cognition inside me anymore. That is completion. Okay. So this is really just shifting your cognition is completion. When you relive, that is what happens actually. This is the prasada of reliving and reliving. When you relive that moment, the very cognition you chose at that incident will shift. You can do that, or you can do the completion, the instant completion of you into today. Okay. Now, before I lead all of you into an instant completion, instant, like now you can complete with your mother. Before that, I will share an incident of importance of completion with the mother from Swamiji's own life. Okay, Swamiji said he narrated this incident from his own life. Okay, so how did Swamiji complete with his mother? But before that, let me just clarify that I see this meeting room is currently 99 people. So if any of you log off, you may not be able to join back. So just please stay connected. More people may not be able to join. We'll have to see if we can reschedule them to another session. Okay, so please stay tuned. If you get disconnected, you may not be able to join back. And I don't know if we have a solution for that right now. So please let's all pray to Swamiji to keep us connected till the end of this session. Okay. So the importance of completion with the mother, right? Now, an incident happened in Swamiji's life. At the age of 17, when Swamiji decided to leave Tiruvannamalai, and he decided to go on a Parivrajaka Yatra. So he goes to Swamiji's mother was in the kitchen. So Swamiji goes to Swamiji's mother, and Swamiji says, I have decided to leave, in a very firm voice. I have decided to leave. Swamiji's mother, biological mother, knows that yes, at one day Swamiji will leave. But as a mother, right, anytime she gets separated from the child, the mother goes through the pain. So Swamiji's mother started crying, and she just took her sari pallu, and she was just wiping her face and wiping her eyes. And Swamiji was very, very stern. He was very clear in his vairagya, in his determination. So he said, what do you mean by crying? Are you saying I should not go? Then Swamiji's mother said, I will never stop you in your path. I am crying because I am not able to handle it. So then Swamiji's mother went and told the father that Swamiji wants to leave the house. So the father thought maybe the mother was behaved, maybe she scolded Swamiji or she was angry with him. So the father came and spoke to Swamiji, and he realized that Swamiji is very clear, he wants to leave. And other people in the family, the uncle and relatives, they all tried to stop him, but we know Swamiji's, once he's decided, he's decided. So he was about preparing to leave the house. At that time, Swamiji's mother, she came and gave a hug to Swamiji. At that time, please understand, at that time, Swamiji didn't want her to feel the pain of separation or, make her feel more emotional. So as she came to hug, he just moved his body away. Reluctantly, he just moved his body away, and he didn't encourage that hug, not to give her that feeling, not to make her emotionally heavy. So he just moved his body away and he left his house. This was at the age of 17. Then after that, Swamiji continued his Parivrajaka, his enriching yatra. And after Swamiji experienced his avataric mission in the year 2000, Swamiji was in Erode, and he came to be known as a healing Swami. People used to flock him for healing, and his parents came to know about him, and they rushed to have the darshan of. They came to know that somehow through somebody they came to know that Swamiji was there. He has come back, and he was there, and so they rushed to see Swamiji, and then when Swamiji saw the mother, his mother, he called her, and Swamiji gave her a hug. Okay, and Swamiji said, at the age of 17, when Swamiji left home, the hug that he left incomplete, even as an avatar, even for an avatar, he had to complete that aspect with the mother. So he came back after Swamiji experienced his avataric mission. He hugged his mother, and she experienced completion. So completion with the mother is extremely important. Swamiji says ultimately important for experiencing enlightenment, for experiencing completion. And mother is the fundamental relationship that we all experience completion with. Now, how do we, here today, we are not going to relive and relieve. I'm going to lead all of us into a technique that Swamiji has given for instant completion. For us to understand about instant completion, certain powerful cognitions about cognition. This is very, very important. So please provide your complete listening. The cognition that we have is not an established organ of you. It can be programmed as you want. Your cognition is programmable, transformable. Your cognition is a possible software, it is not a hardware. Here, if I hold a cognition against my mother is cruel, my mother is wicked, that cognition that I hold against the mother can be programmed. I can change it, I can shift it. So, cognition that I hold against anybody in your life, the cognition that you hold against your spouse, the cognition that you hold against your boss, everything is programmable, transformable. And the key is in your hands. This is the key. Powerful cognition about cognition. Any cognition that you hold can be programmed as you want. Second, because it is there for quite a long time, we mistake the difference between software and hardware. Your eye is a hardware, right? You cannot program eyes to see in a certain way, but your hearing is a software. But your ear is a hardware, but hearing is software. Seeing is software, right? How you see is your way, right? So eye is a hardware, ear is a hardware, hearing is software, seeing is software. Because we continuously see, we forget seeing is programmable, seeing is changeable, seeing is transformable. Okay, so for example, see what I see, and if I see, a plate of, let's say, if I see a plate of meat, which I have never eaten in my life, or can never think of consuming meat because of the way I was brought up. For me, if I see a plate of meat, I feel like, oh God, how can people consume meat? That will be my first question. How can people kill something and consume that? Because I'm not, my tradition or from childhood, I've been brought up like that. Never I have eaten meat. But for somebody who has eaten meat, probably it's a tasty plate of food. So the way both of us see the same thing, right? Our eyes are the same, but seeing is different based on our cognitions. Just because our eyes are working doesn't mean that we both see that as a plate of food. I don't see it as a plate of food. Even though it's put on a plate, it's cooked. I see it as, oh God, an animal is dead and it is being cooked. It is not a plate of food for me. So seeing is changeable. Seeing is transformable. You program it as you want. Everything that exists and you experience as reality stems from your cognition. I am not seeing the world as you are seeing. I am seeing the world as my cognitions allow me to see it. You are seeing the world as your cognitions allow you to see it. All incompletions are a function of your cognition. whether it is incompletion or completion, it is your cognition. All incompletions, every single incompletion, even incompletion that you hold about you is a cognition. And that cognition is programmable, changeable, transformable. Whether it is incompletions or even completion is a cognition. If I have a beautiful completion with the Guru, it is a cognition that I hold. So whether it is a completion or incompletion, it is a cognition. And that cognition is changeable, programmable, transformable. Your cognition alone binds you. Your cognition alone liberates you. And the key of how you program your cognition is in your hands. The key of how you program your cognition is in your hands. How you see your mother, how you see your spouse, how you see your boss is in your hands. However that person may be, how you see is in your hands. Because it is your cognition which is programmable, transformable, changeable. Next. All of us have only one root pattern. All of us have there's only one root pattern, that your cognition cannot be changed. Or you believe this is not your cognition, this is the way that person is. You feel it, you don't feel that, oh, I am cognizing mother as cruel. You feel your mother is cruel. So there are two things. The only root pattern here is you need to understand it is your cognition, and you strongly believe your cognition cannot be changed. That is the only root pattern all of us suffer with. Now, because of this root pattern that your cognition cannot be changed, even if we try to do the completion, no completion works for us, because so strongly we believe cognition cannot be changed. How many of you are able to click with this? Say yes in the chat. If you're able to click with this, it's like, oh God, yes, cognition is changeable. Why am I suffering with this stupid cognition? All of us have this only one root pattern, and if completion didn't work for you, know very clearly. I was somebody who kept saying completion doesn't work for me, completion doesn't work for me. I was saying, even though I've taken so many completion classes, right? Because we believe the underlying fact is cognition. We believe cognition is not changeable. So nothing, no completion will work, no spiritual technique will work, no initiation will work, nothing will work. Because inside you, you believe nothing is changeable. Cognition is not changeable. So with a strong root pattern that cognition is not changeable, any amount of completion is not going to work for you. Yes, great. Next. How do we complete with this only root pattern? All of us have this only one root pattern. Cognition is not changeable. Understand, cognition is changeable. Cognition is transformable. Is the first cognition you need to have. Cognition is changeable. Cognition is transformable. Whenever people realized cognition is changeable, the spontaneous enlightenment happens. Right? Whenever you realize, when you click, yes, my cognition is changeable, then click. That click creates a spontaneous completion. That moment you experience completion. Let us say your boss calls you and he fires the left and right out of you. Right? You didn't do this, you didn't do that. And suddenly you start falling into incompletion. Why am I having this? Why is he always doing this? Whatever I do, he never appreciates. I always get these kind of bosses. My bosses always, suddenly you feel, hey, stupid. Why am I thinking this? This is my cognition. Let me show my cognition. Yes, I think life is demanding authenticity from me. Life is demanding integrity from me. Okay, great. My boss is making me more integrated, more authentic. Okay, great. Let's do it. That's all. You're complete. This moment you're complete. It is spontaneous enlightenment. This moment you can change your cognition about anybody, about anything. Cognition is changeable. Oh God, what a liberation it is. You can change it this moment. So nobody can put you in suffering. Nobody can put you in incompletion. Whatever they do, you will always have a cognition that keeps you in completion. That is spontaneous enlightenment. Now, there are people who do sit and do completion with the mirror, completion with themselves, completion in with others, make completion calls. All these they do. And with the basic cognition, that cognition is not changeable, then it takes few months, few years, few decades for them to come to the conclusion that cognition is changeable and then experience enlightenment. But we are disciples of His Divine Holiness. We are all for instant manifestation, instant result, instant experiences. We don't waste time. So we understand immediately cognition is changeable and awaken. That's at this moment you awaken to the truth. Yes, my cognition is changeable. Are people who have experienced spontaneous enlightenment, instant enlightenment. Okay, cognition is changeable. Whatever idea you have had about your mother is a cognition. And that cognition is changeable, programmable, and you can do it now and here and now. That power is with you. Cognition is changeable. Cognition is programmable. You can change it. Now, incompletions will have power over you as long as you feel cognition is not changeable. No, I cannot change it. This is the way she is. This is the way my life is. This is how it's going to happen. As long as you believe incompletions have life, with the clarity that cognition is transformable. Oh, yes, yeah, cognition is changeable. Why am I suffering? Then you decide all your incompletions, this moment will lose power over you. With this cognition, yes, cognition is changeable. With that, you decide all your incompletions will lose power over you. Now, with this one idea, yes, the cognition can be changed. Drop your incomplete, powerless cognitions about your mother and please pin down new cognitions about her for the same situations. Take a few minutes to do this. How many of you, you're all able to click with this? If you click this, done. The minute you click with this, you are able to have a Shaktipada with this concept. Say yes in the chat. If you are able to click with this, oh God, that's all. It's so simple. You don't even have to sit and relive and cry and sit in front of the mirror and nothing. Just instant. Cognition is changeable. I am going to shift my cognition this moment. That's it. You're complete. It's instant enlightenment. It's instant completion, instant enlightenment, spontaneous completion, spontaneous enlightenment. Now, sincerely take a few moments. Whatever incompletion you had about your mother, whatever happened in the past is not wrong. What is happening is right. Take responsibility and for each of the old cognitions, declare, pen down a new cognition you're going to have about her, right? Let's say, for example, I felt my mother is cruel, my mother is wicked. That's what I felt at the age of 6. Now I feel, oh God, she always cared so much about me. She did so much of tyaga for me. That is a new cognition I'm going to hold. Okay, about the vanilla cake. Yes, I realize at that time I was stupid. But my mother thought about it. She wanted to order a grander cake for me. She wanted my birthday to be more special, right? For my brother, she ordered a single layer cake. She actually ordered a 3-layer cake for me, which was more expensive. She took that pain to put more money and to make my birthday more special. I am shifting my cognition. So for every past incident, now pen down a new cognition. Cognition is changeable, transformable, programmable. Please do it. I'll give you a few minutes. many of you see a shift inside you just with this one? Like when you're writing the new cognitions, you're already able to see that shift happening in you. It's like, wow. I mean, is that all it? I mean, I've been suffering with this stupid cognition all through my life. I could have just changed it any moment. Nobody told me cognition is changeable. I suffered all these years, just I didn't even know this. How many of you feel that relief? How many of you feel that shift? Say yes in the chat. Lalau, I can see the shift and the change, the way you say yes. Yes. Okay, great, beautiful. And now we are now going to enter into actually a little fast-paced session because we have many elements that we have added into this. Okay. Now please listen. You will sit with your eyes closed, not now, but I'll explain the next couple of slides, and then cherishing these new powerful cognitions about your mother in your inner space. What you feel about her, you will just cherish it in your inner space. And I'm going to chant a few verses from the Chandi, the Devi Mahatmya. Okay. And before we chant, I just want to give the context of the Chandi chanting. Okay. What is the aim here, right? The aim here is whatever cognitions that you're holding against your mother, the holding towards your mother, all the powerful cognitions, the new cognitions that you have shifted, we are going to program it into your muscle memory and biomemory. Okay. And that we are going to use the power of Chandi. The power of Chandi, the sound energy vibrations that of Chandi chanting, we are going to use for you to experience the deep completion with the Divine Mother. Okay, for you to experience that completion with your own mother, for you to shift your cognition with your mother. Okay, so I'm going to explain, read some verses of Chandi. And before that, I'll explain context, the significance of these verses that I'm going to chant right now. In the Vedic tradition, there are two shlokas that can directly lead you to enlightenment. Both have 700 verses. Bhagavad Gita, the ultimate truth, delivered by Bhagavan Sri Krishna. The second is Chandi. Chandi is phonetically important. In Swamiji's words, just listening or reciting to Chandi can lead us to enlightenment. Chandi chanting is sound-based technique. Chandi is the ultimate sound vibration. When you recite, you can feel inside your body the creativity getting expressed and the sacred feminine getting awakened. The Devi who resides in us in the form of creativity getting awakened. The whole body will now feel the intense energy of the sound energy vibrations of Chandi. Okay, now please sit straight, sit with your eyes closed, cherishing these new powerful cognitions about your mother in the inner space now. The powerful Chandi mantras will be chanted now to bolt these new cognitions in your muscle memory and biomemory to become your default cognitions. Okay, so just please sit straight and consciously just connect to your mother, relate with the mother with the new powerful cognitions that you mentioned. And I will be reading some verses of Chandi. Yes. Please sit straight and close your eyes. Just hold your mother in your inner space and connect with her with the new powerful cognitions that you have penned down. And if any new powerful cognition comes up, allow it to happen. Allow that cognition to flower, mother that cognition in you, nurture that cognition in you. If any incomplete cognition comes up, just decide cognition is changeable, cognition is programmable, cognition is transformable, and change that cognition. Sit in the space of deep receptivity. These Chandi mantras will bring a deep inner healing in your inner space and will bolt the new cognitions in your inner space. Nityanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tatvamasyadilaksham Yekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Satgurum Tam Namami. या देवी सर्वभूतेषु विष्णुमायेति शब्दिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु चेतनेत्यभिधीयते नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु बुद्धिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु निद्रारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु क्षुधारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु छायारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु तृष्णारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु क्षान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु जातिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु लज्जारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु क्षान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु श्रद्धारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु कान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु लक्ष्मीरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु वृत्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु स्मृतिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु दयारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु तुष्टिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। The last verse, it says, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu, O Divine Mother, Sarvabhuteshu, in all the beings, Matru Rupena Samstita, you exist in the form of the mother. Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namaha. Let me go down to you again and again and again. So this verse alone I will teach to all of you. You can just listen and repeat. Ya Devi सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। Just sit with your eyes closed. I'm now going to lead every one of you into a beautiful gratitude meditation, offering of gratitude to your mother. Please ensure your phones are in silent so that you are not distracted during the meditation. Please sit straight and close your eyes. Just connect. Connect with your mother. Just get into the skin of the mother. Get into her body. Take a moment and look back and live inside the skin of your biological mother. One day, she's a playful girl, and all of a sudden, she has to metamorph into being a mother, being who's expected to care for a new life. by giving birth, by deciding to give birth, the mother takes the responsibility and the commitment that for the rest of the life, she is committed to one more life. She is committed to enrich one more life. Whether you physically grew up with her or not, she feels for you. The very biology of the mother feels for you, whether she was alive or whether she is dead. Until the last moment of the life, the mother feels for the child. Her whole biology feels for the child. The mother takes the ultimate commitment, the ultimate tyaga, that until this body is alive, she cares for you. She feels for you. She resonates for you. Just by deciding to conceive a new life, the mother has decided that the ultimate tyaga, that she decides to enrich a new life. There is no ready-made manual given to her, but inside her own body, she offers her womb to you. She eats for you not to be hungry. She drinks for you not to be thirsty. She breathes so that you don't get out of breath. This she does not just for one day, not for 2 days, 3,285 days of her life. Every day you are in the womb for 270 days. She carries you in her womb. During those 9 months, every moment she thinks about you. There is no her, there is only you. All the sacrifices that she needs to go, she needs to do, she gives away to any demand from you, just so that you're alive, just so that you see the light, just so that you fulfill all that you set out to fulfill, for which you choose her womb. And after those 9 months, when you signal to her that you want to come out, she goes through the ultimate pain, the tyaga, just so that you can survive, you can take birth in this beautiful world. You can assume a human body. Your soul can take the human body that she has prepared for you. She undergoes the pain so that you can take birth. The pain is not for you, but for her. She endures the pain so that you can take birth in this world. And from the moment you are born into this world, every cell in her body thinks for you, cares for you, thinks of protecting you, thinks of taking care of you. Did you eat? Did you have the milk? Are you crying? Are you safe? Are you protected? Is your diaper changed? Are you given birth? Every moment. She forgoes her sleep so you can sleep well. She forgoes her food so you can eat well. She does the tyaga of every enjoyment and pleasure in her life so you can experience the joy, the pleasure. She gives up everything so that you can have it. She does the tyaga of her joy, her luxuries, what she wants so that you can have what you want. From that moment that you took birth till now, her attention is only on you. She has forgotten herself, lost in you. wherever your mother may be, physically with you, not physically with you. Currently she is alive or she has moved on. Just connect with that and offer your gratitude for what she has done to you. Even when you're here attending this session, your mother is praying for your well-being. She is thinking about you. Whether you called her, you have not called her, you remembered her, you have not remembered her, you are complete with her, you are incomplete with her. For her, nothing can be bigger than you. She continues to pray. Even if you don't listen to her, even if you are incomplete with her, even if you are angry with her, she prays for your well-being. Understand, if you are safe today, it is her prayers. If you are healthy today, it is because of her. It is her tyaga. It is her compassion. She never expects anything from you. She only gives and gives and gives. Remember all the sleepless nights she spent just to tuck you into the bed, just so that you will sleep. All those days, she went hungry just to prepare the food you like. Remember all the scoldings that she got from your father or from the people in the family, just so that you can get what you want. Remember all the sacrifices that she has done, just so that you get what you want, just so that you are protected, just so that you are happy. Remember all the sufferings she has undergone, just so that you are happy, without even telling you what she went through, without expecting any consolation, any credit. Just remember the ultimate tyaga of the mother. Offer your immense gratitude for her, for she has given you this body, she has given you this life, she brought you out to this world so that you could meet the ultimate avatar. She gave you birth at this time so you could experience the ultimate liberation with your Guru. She gave up her luxuries, her comfort, her likes, her dislikes, her pain, sufferings, just so that you are protected, just so that you are happy. Imagine the number of days you have been with your mother. Imagine the number of days since she gave you the birth. How many times have we really thanked her? How many times she even expected a simple thank you from us? 24/7, she thinks about you. She cares for you. She cares to protect you. In whatever way she knows, in whatever cognition that she has, whatever understanding that she has about life, she gave the best to you. She wanted you to have the best. Express your immense gratitude for her. Seek forgiveness for any known or unknown hurt you have caused to her. Consciously choose to forgive her for any known or unknown hurt she has caused to you. Have immense gratitude to her. Thank her for all that she has given you. Thank her for all that she has not given you, which has brought you to where you are today, which has brought you to Swamiji. Knowingly or unknowingly, she has contributed to your life and led you to the ultimate Sadguru, led you to the ultimate avatar. Express your gratitude for her. Just be in the space of deep gratitude. Slowly, very slowly, you can open your eyes. How many of you tears flowed? And how many of you cried? How many of you are not even able to stop your tears? Please understand the ultimate tyaga of the mother. Least they expected that you will do anything back to her. Least they expects. But she does the ultimate tyaga. Yes, if your eyes, the tears flowed in your eyes, understand that that space of gratitude has been touched. Because at that space, you cannot control your tears. It'll just flow. Yes, you cannot stop it. It's okay. Allow the tears to happen. Just allow the tears to happen. Just settle down. I'll give a few more minutes. Just settle down. Just allow yourself to settle down. Now, for this mother who has done the ultimate tyaga, who has done the ultimate tyaga for us, who has brought you, who has given you this birth, who has given you this life, whatever she knew, please understand, whatever her intelligence, her cognition, whatever she knew about life, she gave the best. She did the best for you. And what can we do to her? The best gift we can offer to your mother during this Navaratri. The best gift you can offer to your mother is for a change. Let us be a mother to our mother. Be a mother to your mother. That is the ultimate gift you can be, you can give to her. How a mother constantly thinks about the child. Right? Be a mother to your mother. That is the ultimate you can do to her. Now, can we even think of compensating whatever she has done to you? Right? Can we even think of that? Can you even think of compensating all the tyaga, the ultimate sacrifice that she has done on your behalf? We can't. It's impossible to pay back what a mother does to a child. But there is something that each and every one of us today we can do. There is something we can do. And what is it that we can do for our mother? You can gift her the imperishable wealth. Please understand, we can be a mother to her, but we can only be a mother to an extent, right? You cannot do exactly what she has done for you, but you can do something more. Not in terms of the amount of tyaga that she has done, but in terms of the benefit that she will get for that being who has done so much to your life, for that being who has brought you to the planet Earth, for that being, in remembrance of that being, for that being, you can do something. You can gift that being with an imperishable wealth. Now, what is perishable and what is imperishable wealth? What is perishable wealth? The bank balance that you have, the properties that you have, the relations you have, the cars, the jewelry, the clothes, the luxuries, which is there for you only till this body, right? After you leave this body, those things are not going to come along with you. So those are called a perishable wealth. What is the imperishable wealth? Even after you leave the body, even after your mother leaves the body, this goes along with her. The space of oneness, the Guru Bhakti, the space of completion, the blessings of the Guru, the blessings of the gods and goddesses, our space of integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, the tyaga, the tapas, that is the imperishable wealth that you can gift to your mother, right? Now, whatever you may have $1 million on the bank account, but that is not going to help your mother any moment. That's not going to help any of us. Any moment we can leave the body. And that wealth will just be sitting and somebody else will use it. You cannot You cannot use it. You cannot utilize it. You cannot take it with you. But there is some wealth which is eternal, which will never leave you. That is the wealth of Guru Bhakti. That is the wealth of the space of Advaita, the oneness, the completion, the blessings of the Guru, the gods, goddesses, the tapas, the tyaga that you do comes with you and comes with that being for the rest of the being's life. Now, that is something you can give to your mother now. That is something you can do for her. That is something that you can do as a mother for you and for your family. Right? Cosmic currency is the best strategy for your life and is the best gift you can give to anybody. With the cosmic currency, you can manifest what you want and it will be useful eternally. Okay, so the Vedic tradition always believed in cosmic currency. The Western civilization always tells, okay, if you love your mother, gift her a car or gift her a house or give her a bank balance or, put some property for her or do some investment for her, all that. Western civilization wants us to spend all the money. If in them being rich, if you buy some iPod or if you buy some iPad or if you buy something, that company is going to become rich, right? But it is only useful to, maybe it has a utility value. But the cosmic currency, the Vedagamic civilization liberates you with the cosmic currency. It doesn't bind you with the matrix world currency. The Vedagamic tradition, Sanatana Hindu Dharma, it liberates us. They have the best currency conversion mechanism. Convert your matrix currency into your cosmic currency and put it in the bank of your mother. Right? Gift her the cosmic currency, gift her the Guru Bhakti, gift her the blessings of the Guru. That is the ultimate gift you can give for a being who has offered herself to you, who has done so much tyaga for you. There is something that you can do which will come with her even after her life. Convert the perishable wealth into the imperishable wealth and gift it for your mother. Right? Perishable wealth, maybe she can use while she is in the body, she can buy some things, but that's not eternal. But when you offer the imperishable wealth, when you offer her the cosmic currency, when you gift it to her, you can be rest assured, even after that being leaves the body, you are giving her something that will come along with her. The blessings of the Guru, the blessings of Paramashiva, the blessings of Devi Parashakti. That is what will come along with her. So at this auspicious time of Navaratri, you have a wonderful opportunity to convert the matrix world currency into the cosmic currency and gift it to your mother. Now, please understand, the matrix world currency that we have, when you sponsor, when you become a Maha Yajamana and gift it for you, $10,000 is nothing compared to 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 years of tyaga that she has done so that you are alive. Right? So that you are healthy, so that you are protected. She has done everything for you. For that being, for that purpose, can you not offer just $10,000? $10,000 is nothing. Maha Yajamana. When you become a Maha Yajamana and offer it, if she is alive, offer it in her name, right? If she is not alive, right? In the Vedic tradition, other than Maheshwara Puja, every other puja, we only offer it for people who are alive. If she is not alive, just think about her, right? Offer your gratitude for her and offer the puja for your family. Because ultimately what she wants is she wants the benefit of you and the family. If she was alive, she would have said, I want all of you to be happy. That's all I want. This is the standard dialogue of every mother. I want all of you to be happy. If you are happy, I am happy, right? So if she is alive, then you can offer to the Maha Yajamana, sponsor any one day and let her name be chanted. Let the whole sponsor happen for her. This is the ultimate, the future investment. You're doing it in the name of the mother. Okay, so I request everyone, for the purpose of your mother, for what she has done to you, she has kept you in her womb, she has given birth to you, she has done the ultimate tyaga for you. For her, can we not take this one step for that being to earn the ultimate cosmic currency, for that being to gift that being something that will come with her for the rest of her life? That is the cosmic currency. So that is the Maha Yajamana. The next option that you have is you can also offer, if you are not able to offer the Maha Yajamana, right? For the Chandi, the whole day. Mahayajamana means you become the sponsor for the whole day. You get her all the wealth, all the benefits, all the wealth, abundance, luxury in this world and in the in eternity. So it's both. It's both a matrix world, luxuries, wealth, abundance while she is alive, and after she leaves the body, she takes the blessings of the Guru, Swamiji's blessings along with her. Okay, so both. So Mahayajamana is both. Now Chandi Homa, when you offer to the mother, you connect with her, you thank her, just from the bottom of your heart, you just thank her, oh mother, oh divine mother, who came in the form of my the cosmic mother, who came in the form of my biological mother. I am making this offering to you. You do the Chandi Homa. If you are not able to do the Chandi Homa, then you can do any one of these offerings, right? Do Abhishekam, Vastra Seva, Alankara Seva, the Venkateshwara Archana, Devi Archana, anything you can do. If you ask me, the ultimate, see, how a mother, when I say be a mother to your mother, right? Now, the mother wants the best child, best school for the child. She will work. I know people who have taken extra work so that the child goes to the school. She doesn't say, okay, you go to the government school, right? Any school you go, it's okay. No, she wants you to go to the best school. Like that, as being a mother to your mother, offer the best. Offer the best of you can offer. Whatever is the best that you can offer, do the tyaga, right? Don't put yourself just in a comfortable space. Take that extra mile. Do that tyaga, do that extra mile, saying, yes, I am ready to forego this for the purpose of my mother. The tyaga will awaken the Parameshwatva in you. So anything, just offer the Mahayajamana to your mother. It will happen. Because just the intention of you completing with the mother will manifest in your life. Will manifest today, all of you will be able to make the offering. Okay, because of the beautiful completion that you have all experienced and the gratitude, that space of gratitude from which you are offering this. Do the offering on behalf of your divine mother, on behalf of your biological mother, who is a representation and embodiment of the divine mother. So over the next 5 days, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, over the next 5 days, we have different days for different purposes. So you can choose which day will be the most appropriate for you to offer, thinking about your biological mother or for the benefit of your biological mother. So the day 6, which is tomorrow, we have Shayana Tirukolam, the psychosomatic disorder relief from mental disorders like stress, suicidal thought, depression, removal of all ill effects of bad dreams or a negative influence of the planets. So if your mother is going through any of this, or if your family is going through any of this, you can offer it. The 7th day is manifesting all the wealth abundance, prosperity, protection from loss of wealth, and family rejoices, like the family feeling complete and rejoicing, welfare, all the worldly pleasures, and the enemies perish. So you get, you can offer it on the 7th day, Devi Lakshmi. On the 8th day, it is protection from coronavirus negativity, untimely dangers, enemies, success of any legal cases, litigation. You become fearless. Enemies are removed. The black magic gets removed. Removal of untowards happening in life. Removal of evil spirits. The day 9, we have Devi Saraswati, ability to grasp the knowledge, ability to achieve in exams, ability to learn through a new way of distance learning. One becomes Siddha, and after death attains moksha. Then on the Vijayadasami is the ultimate conquering of good over evil, manifestation of any specific prayer that you want, beautifully manifest that day of Vijayadasami. So you can go ahead and sign up in this link, which is tinyurl.com/offerings FAQ. This time, please understand, this time of Navaratri, we have the Kala Sarpa Yoga, which happens once in 5,000 years. The planets are between Rahu and Ketu in a specific alignment, happens only till December 14th. Anything that you do, any spiritual conscious effort you do to manifest the imperishable wealth will have 1,000 times more benefit than any other regular time. Cosmically, it's aligned. This is the only Navaratri in 5,000 years that Kala Sarpa Yoga is happening, where anything you do gets exponentially projected onto the cosmos. One step you do gets exponentially projected onto the cosmos. So gift, the ultimate gift you can to your mother. There is nothing else we can do to her. There is nothing a child can give to the mother. But the only and the ultimate thing you can give is the connection with the Guru Bhakti, and the blessings of the divine cosmic mother. Whatever she has done to me, oh mother, I am offering my gratitude to you. Let you experience the blessing of Devi Shakti, and let you have the eternal protection and blessing of my Guru, Bhagavan Sri Nityananda Paramashivam. So you pray for her welfare, you pray for her protection, you pray for her fulfillment of all her needs and wants, and ultimately you pray for her liberation. Let us take this moment to offer our prayers and gratitude for the ultimate divine cosmic mother. So I'll put this link in the chat, and I want every single one of you give the best for your mother who has given the best for you. So I request everyone to kindly go to this link and you can sign up. I'm going to share some more benefits of offering the Chandi Homa. Please listen carefully. The Navaratri Chandi Homa, the Devi's grace happens to you. One becomes Siddha, enlightened, and after death attains moksha. The manifestation of all prayers, removal and protection from all troubles, if Homa is done during Navaratri, and the participants is blessed with riches, grains, and children. The Navagrahas, the planetary positions, turn favorable in any situation. Perfect health manifests. All the sins are removed. Blessed with longevity, wealth, relationship, manifesting of jewelry as wealth in life, timely marriage, finding the right partner, health and healing, completion in relationships and wealth. It will bring a beautiful completion in you with your mother, and beautiful completion if she is alive. It will bring a beautiful completion in her towards you as well. And we are doing this time, we are doing a very special japam, a chanting for the Chandi Homa. Not just chanting the Chandi, but it is being chanted in a very specific way. Every day during the Navaratri, along with the Chandi Homa, there will be a special yet extremely powerful way of the chant of Chandi. This specific chant is called Samputa Japam, and it enables the participant to manifest a specific prayer. This special japam will be a powerful booster to manifest a prayer of wealth in one's life. In the special chant, each of the 700 mantras of the Chandi will be alloyed and amalgamated with that specific other mantra that fortifies the power of the Chandi chant and directs the whole benefit of the Chandi towards that specific prayer. So each day we have a specific prayer or for a specific cause. So before every of the 700 shlokas, before the shloka, the Devi mantra is chanted, and after the shloka, the Devi mantra is chanted. So for that shloka's benefit goes towards that purpose. Like that, for every shloka, that same mantra is chanted again and again and again and again. It's called Samputa Japam for the manifestation of a specific prayer. In this case, we can direct that Samputa Japam for the welfare and protection of your mother, and as a mother to your family. Okay, not just the mother, the completion of you with your mother, the completion of the mother with you, and as a mother, completion for and the manifestation for your whole family. This special way of bringing the two mantras is called Samputa Japam. Through the Samputa Karanam, the specific prayer of the day will be offered to Devi repeatedly with every mantra of Devi Mahatmyam, thereby manifesting the results in the quickest way possible. The Navaratri Chandi Homa, removal of all the benefits, removal of all problems, avoiding all untoward happenings in your life, avoiding bad happenings, poverty, separation from beloved ones, removal of fear from enemies, robbers, kings, authority, weapons, fire and flood, saves from all epidemic calamities and natural calamities. Without doubt, all the troubles will be removed by Devi. If this Homa is done during Navaratri, the participant will be blessed with all the riches. All the numbers are the names of the shloka, the number of the shloka of the Chandi in which these benefits are mentioned. So in the Devi herself says, all these benefits will happen to you when the Chandi is offered. One becomes fearless, the enemies perish, welfare accrues, and the family rejoices. The ill effects of the bad dreams and negative influence of the planets are removed. Planet turns favorable, and result of the good dreams manifest. Completion manifests in between human beings. Beautiful completion happens not just with the mother aspect, with every other relationship in your life which has been strained because of the incompletion with the mother. The presence of all evil spirits are driven away. Perfect health manifests, remover of sins, all the dreadful troubles when afflicted with pain, all the worldly pleasures that are sought, manifest supreme union with the cosmic mother happens, becomes enabled to perfect even others. Death doesn't happen to him. After natural death, he attains moksha. Please understand, this is the biggest gift you can give to your mother. Death doesn't happen. After the natural death, that being attains moksha, the ultimate liberation. That being which kept you in her womb for 9 months, can we not do this one simple thing? Just you offering a few $1,000 matrix soul currency can liberate that being. Please pray for that being. Please be a mother for that being. Mother her and pray for her ultimate liberation. Right? That being may or may not be connected to Swamiji today, but because of your intention, because you have the sankalpa, because you are offering the Maha Yajamana for her, you are taking the responsibility for that soul's liberation. The blessing, it says, death doesn't happen. Devi is giving that assurance. After natural death, that being attains moksha. And success in litigation paves way for Devi's grace. Evil possessing or haunting children are removed. Completion manifests in between human beings. The presence of all evil spirits are driven away. Devi, divine cosmic mother's grace showers on you, your family, and your mother. So please go ahead and let's all take this moment. Let's not miss the Kal Sarpa Yoga time. Let's not miss the Navaratri. Let's not miss Swamiji, who is present as the divine cosmic mother, accepting your offering, accepting your Purnahuti. Every day, Swamiji personally comes and sits and accepts the Chandi Homa Purnahuti and the Maha Yajamana offering. Right? When you offer the Maha Yajamana, it includes the Pratyaksha Pada Puja. Make your mother do the Pratyaksha Pada Puja offering. Connect that being to Swamiji. The Maha Yajamana includes offering of food to Swamiji. Right? What is offering of food to Swamiji? Means you are offering the food to all the living beings in the world. You are offering the food back to your mother. You are the one who gave you food every single day of your life, day in and day out, without skipping a meal. She skipped a meal for you, but she never allowed you to skip a meal. For that being, offer the gratitude in the form of Maha Yajamana, in the form of Chandi Homa, in the form of any of these offerings. But always choose the Maha Yajamana, where the being gets to offer the Pada Puja, she gets to offer the 1008 Nevedyam offerings, and all of these put together is the best gift you can give to a being who bore you inside her body for 9 months, who did all this Tyaga for us. Please go ahead and sign up. The link is being projected in the chat. Every single person, let us utilize this opportunity. Let us not miss this beautiful time of offering the gratitude to our biological mother. And this, you completing with your mother, you offering the gratitude to your mother in the form of the Chandi offering, can and will bring beautiful completion and manifestation in every dimension of your life. Completion with the mother is the foundation of completion and relationships, is the foundation of manifestation in any which aspect of your life.